The Morning Brew podcast with Jaffe and Razor, sponsored by Berkshire Bank Home Lending. Where you borrow matters. All right, well, that was a little more like it, Razor. It was a little bit better, actually, a lot better. As we welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, presented by the good folks over at Berkshire Bank. Bruins win 2-0 on Saturday afternoon over the Ottawa Senators, albeit Ottawa, a very different team level-wise than the Carolina Hurricanes, the last team that the Bruins played, where they got throttled pretty good, 6-0 the other night. But I mean, listen, in this business, right, you want to see response. You want to see some attitude. You want to see pushback words, all those kind of words. And I thought, Razor, that the Bruins did show that. The Sens have a propensity to be pesky. That's why they're called the pesky Sens. And they push back strong against certain teams. They did it well the other night against Carolina. The Bruins, though, I mean, I would say I was the term I would use, very satisfied with their game over the Senators. What was your take on that one?
I agree. I to your point of the pushback, there's 13 teams that can't push back. There's 13 teams in the NHL, over a third of the teams that couldn't put the effort in the Bruins did, with their two best players out of the lineup, with all that's gone on last week, with getting smoked 6-0 at home. There's over a third of the teams that can't push back, and the Bruins still can do that. So that's a positive. And this is the team they are. I think where they're at right here in the season, and it's okay to say this, is that they're a pretty good team. They're going to lose to Carolina in 5 games in a series. This week's a perfect encapsulation of it. Pittsburgh's going to go one way or the other. That's a 7-game series if they play Pittsburgh right now. They play Carolina, they're probably going to lose in 5, and if they play teams like Ottawa, they're going to win in 5. So it's not horrible, and they're not cruising to the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup.
Right. I guess the quandary, though, that they find themselves in by being in the middle is that what do you do with the team? If the team needs new identity, what do you? I don't want to go into the whole trade deadline shit again, because we've done that before ad nauseum, and we're going to do it again as trade deadline comes up. But
got a month to do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and we all agree. I think a lot of the listeners agree what they need. It's more than just one piece. So the question of, well, what do you do? We don't even need to go there right now, but it's just these next 4 games, assuming Patrice is out for at least one more, maybe 2. Who knows? Assuming Brad doesn't get his suspension reduced, you just don't know yet either. These next 4 games could be will be, I think, a big difference in the season. If they go 2-2, and if they go 500 overall in these 6 games where Marchand is out, then I think they survive. When I mean they survive, meaning they put themselves in a position to maybe consider continue to consider adding, so to speak. If they go now 0-4 the rest of the way, and what their next 2 games are in New York, not easy. I don't know. We'll see. But let's just break down this game for now. Let's just do a good old-fashioned morning brew and talk about a couple of really good things. First of all, the start. The start was excellent, Razor. I mean, the way that the Bruins got out to the first shift of the game, Trent Frederick getting moved to the line with Charlie Coyle. Craig Smith obviously worked out well from Bruce Cassidy. Sometimes as a coach at any level, right, Bud? You coach at all at different levels. Sometimes just making that certain decision about who you start for the game on the ice can be almost nerve-wracking, because you want to set the tone. The Bruins did that, and it proved very important, scoring a goal less than a minute in.
It did, and I mean Ottawa was sound asleep, so that certainly helped that line. I mean that was as porous of
Yeah.
defense as you will ever see in the National Hockey League to get that opportunity, and yeah, it was good to see Frederick get on the board in the first period and be in the mix. You could see he's a guy who really needs that confidence. That if he's going to stay in the lineup. You can tell by his body language certain games the need of confidence. So that was a good start for him, and would have actually rather to see Craig Smith score the goal. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, a little
Yeah.
disappointed he didn't because he's having a really tough go and he needs to get hot. But I guess he can take some momentum from that, I suppose.
Craig Smith had 4 shots in the game, 4 hits. He had 2 good looks, man. He had that first one, and then he had later where
Yeah.
Murray made another nice save. I
And
agree
even
with
the
you, bud.
empty netter, right? Even the
Right.
empty netter, like somehow get that empty netter in. Find a way, find a way. Just one. But he's to the other point though. Like you put him on any line, he does make people better. And guys like a Trent Frederick, he can make Trent Frederick so much better because of his energy and his ability to read the play and get in on the forecheck. He can help get Frederick going a little bit. So to that point, I like that mix. Even with Coyle too, right? We've seen him with Coyle before, and he can get Charlie going a little bit with his pace and his energy out there.
Speaking of Charlie, despite the fact that in the arena, Charlie Coyle was not the number 1 star. He was not the number 2 star. He was not even the number 3 star in the arena. By the way, that went Swayman, Murray, Curtis Lazar in Ottawa's arena. We named him the star of the game
They
for the
love
Bruins.
they love Curtis.
Oh, they
They
do love
love
Curtis
Curtis
Lazar in
Lazar in
Ottawa.
Canada. Yeah, he's
Yes.
World Juniors. He's Mr. World Junior.
And he,
He
by the
probably
way,
gets a. You look at the
he had
stars he's gotten in Canada. He probably gets one every 3 games he plays in Canada, no matter what he does on the ice.
yeah, well, he had a good game. He did. He had a goal. He was involved in the other one where there was contact that was turned back. He had 3 hits, 2 shots. He had a good game. He was involved. But I want to talk about Charlie Coyle right now. Charlie had a great game. Charlie, somebody either talked to Charlie on Friday, or maybe just Bruce Cassidy calling out a couple of guys, so to speak, on after Thursday's game. Maybe there was enough there that just Charlie said, I'm going to be what I want to be. And he went out and not only did he protect the puck, but he moved the puck. He shot the puck. He got the puck back. Holy shit, was he good in this game. He won faceoffs, 14 of 24. He did everything that you need, want, beg basically out of him, Razor, and it was his best game in a long time. I not even, as far as I'm concerned, not even close. And he only had 1 assist, and I thought he was excellent and needed to be excellent.
He did need to be excellent, and for me, it's at the point where it's okay. Now, what's he going to do the next game? That's
Yep.
the
Yep.
that's where it's at. Yeah, great. He played. I'm glad he played really well against the Senators, but doesn't do a whole lot for me at this point. He needs to do it against the Islanders and the Rangers back to back as well. But to your point, he did that. He can do that. We've seen him do that. That's why he got the monster deal that he got. That somehow is okay for him to make $5 million, but other guys on the team can't make $5 million. It's interesting, and he needs to do that every night. That's what $5 million players do.
Don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely with you. He needs, he needs Tuesday's game. He needs to show up as much, if not even more. And I don't care if he
Yes.
doesn't score, but the days of just protecting the puck and not moving it to open ice or moving it inside an area, all that kind of stuff, and not shooting, it can't happen anymore, especially with him elevated in the
Mm-hmm.
lineup. So good for him. He came through. I did a breakdown in pregame, a little number breakdown, Razor, and I don't have it in front of me, so forgive me. But like his first 27 games, I'm going to say Charlie, where we both gave him credit more often than not, Bud, right? We did. He had
Absolutely. Yep, we did.
51 shots on goal. Okay, Razor, 51, if I remember the number correct. In the last it was 18 games, I think it was. He had 20 like 23 shots on goal. Okay? But
Mm-hmm.
two of those games of the last 18, he had 7 shots combined, okay? And he did great in those games. He scored. He was involved. So if you take those 2 games out, it was 15 shots in 16 games. It's not
Yeah,
enough for him. It's not enough. And I think I think the shots on goal for him is really a good indicator where he is. I do. I think where his game is at.
I agree. Yeah, that stat says it all. It absolutely says it all. And to your point, I'm not. We've sat here and praised him when he's gone 5 games without points or 5 games without scoring because he can. He is the one. He's one of their top players that can influence the game without getting points. I don't think David can. I don't think Taylor can. I don't think Brad and Patrice can either. Even Patrice is close, but the other guys need to get points where Charlie Coyle can be effective without getting points, but he needs. I guess the answer is he needs to shoot the puck, and if it's not going in, he's doing other things with that shot on net.
Yeah. He's got to shoot the puck from short distance, like within 20 feet, 20, 25. If he's doing that, he's great. If he's pumping it from far out next to the wall, no good. I'm happy that he did well. Thought he had a good game. A couple of other guys I thought that had good game. We talked about Trent Frederick. You talk about his confidence. Much more noticeable in this game. Curtis Lazar with the goal, along with, I thought, Anton Bleed. The whole fourth line, in fact, played well. Tomas Nosek, a little bit less ice time than normal, under 500 in the faceoffs, but again, a solid game. But I thought his line mates, I thought Bleed and Lazar really kind of carried that line in a good way, in the kind of way you want to see. McAvoy didn't have didn't have to fight anybody, thankfully, but he had 4 more hits in the game, played over 25 minutes. He had a different partner this game in Mike Riley, who, because of the injury, which thankfully Matt Grzelcyk came back even for warm-up. I mean, I was wincing in pain that, like, remembering my shoulder injury from the end of June. I'm like, oh shit, he's got the similar type of thing, Razor. But he was able to take warm-up, not able to go. Encouraging. You'd think the next game, maybe 2, he'll be able to play. Mike Riley, though, played pretty well at 21-32 and had a couple of blocks and everything. I mean, again, for what it's worth, take out of the fact that it's Ottawa. You have to, I think, here, Razor, because other good teams have lost to Ottawa. These guys, I mean, the McAvoys, the Rileys, they stepped up, and again, they did their job.
They did, and it was an interesting move to put Riley there. You could have went a few different directions. Also, to keep Forbert and Clifton together is interesting on the back end, but great job. And I don't want to take anything away from Riley because he did need to step up. He was put in a tough or in a position of pressure on that top line to go up against the better players. It also just goes to what Charlie McAvoy's done with this back end. Whoever ends up playing with Charlie ends up having a good night. Consistently, like probably 40 out of the 46 times, it's whoever's played with Charlie's had a good night. It's really impressive how he's carrying this back end on his own for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then another signal why they need to get some help back there. Jack Ashawn gets called up, plays a little over 15 minutes, had a couple attempted shots. None of them hit the net, but again, I thought he showed himself well. He got throttled by Austin Watson. Austin Watson has come down in, we're recording this on Saturday evening. It has just come out from Department of Player Safety that he will have a hearing for that hit, not for the contact point, but for the lateness of it. And, that's where I was connecting with the league. And, some people there I know thought that it was more of a full body hit. And I think Austin Watson's size, what is he, 6-7 inches taller than Ashawn, kind of came into play. He did not have his arms up. I'll say that. He didn't, but he did make head contact. There was definitely head contact. Whether there was enough to be deemed principal point of contact, I guess that's the discussion. But the lateness of the hit absolutely deserves another look. It absolutely does. So I'm glad the Department of Player Safety looked at that or is going to discuss that with him.
But I agree. It's the lateness. I think you do get into a gray area. And we saw it with Zdeno Chara so often, right? How many headshots he would give guys, but it's just a matter of his forearm being with most guys' heads. And that's his situation with a Sean on the other end is he's going to get hit in the head a little bit more because he's not as tall as everybody. But you can't protect yourself when you've given up the puck that long. You don't expect to get hit in that position. And for the smaller guys like a Sean, they pride themselves on knowing when the hit's coming. They're smart. They've been dealing with it for 12 years now of their life. And if someone hits them that late, they're much more susceptible to get hurt because of the fact they don't see it coming in any way whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Listen, I don't have Austin Watson's history in front of me. I think he was suspended within the time frame too. So, if I'm wrong, forgive me. I thought he was, so that might have played a role in it as well. Lastly, with regard to individual performances, David Pastrnak. I said on the pregame show with Sophie, I said, this could be, he needs a 9-shot game. I just was throwing it out, 3 shots on goal per period type of thing, just saying, okay, and we've seen Pasta do that a fair amount. Turns out he had 8 shots on goal, 16 total attempts, Razor, 8 shots on, 3 blocked, 3 misses. I thought he was real good. I thought he was much more, now he had more room, obviously, than he did against Carolina, but he was much more selfish in this game. He was much more confident shooting the puck, much more like, he just said, I'm just going to keep slinging this thing towards the net. And, that's just like you've used it before, the word confidence. I mean, that's what it's all about. I was glad to see that. At the very least, what I want to take away most out of this game is the response, but also hopefully the reset. Now, you know what, bud? Now they get to go into a Super Bowl Sunday, day off, no practice at all, have your team party, have it feel good. Because holy smokes, bud, if you go in after losing to Ottawa and then previously to Pitt and Carolina, you're like, okay, it's fun, but this makes it more jovial. Maybe a couple of more beverages. And you know what? Now you say, all right, guys, let's just worry about one more game on Tuesday. Meaning, we've reset. Now let's go in and take a team on in New York that we can handle, or at least hopefully handle, because New York's pretty damn good this year too. But you know what it's like as a player going into these events, whether it's a Halloween party or the Super Bowl party, not having one in a couple. It's got to be a much different mindset.
It is, and the afternoon game adds to it as well because this is the guys get to go out Saturday night in Boston now. It's a big weekend. There's lots going on, and they get to enjoy the Saturday night as much as they will enjoy Sunday. And to your point, it just changes the narrative. You can't lose 3 in a row in this league if you're a good team. We've talked about that over the years of why this team's so good is because they snuff these losing streaks in the bud. They get points. They find ways to not lose 3 in a row, and they did that again. And so you lose to Ottawa behind the Carolina, then you've got a problem. But now you can just take that Carolina game again and compartmentalize it into that was just one night. We had lost our best player, our franchise goaltender retired the night before. Like we just had a bad night, and now you can tell yourself that and have fun and have a good few days and go into New York and get on a roll again. That's what they're telling themselves, and that's what they're looking forward to do.
Yeah,
you get the coaches
a lot
of back too as players.
Yeah, yeah, that is true, right?
Like it's miserable on Monday. The coaches are going to make everybody mad. They're going to make everyone miserable. It's going to be annoying, and you get those guys off your back.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice. It's got to feel good at least for 24 or 48 hours to just feel that there's a relaxedness that comes with a win after afternoon hockey. That's a good point. There it is. There. Speaking of that, by the way, so again, we're doing this in the night. I went out and visited Cafe Martin here in Newton and just opened up in Nonantum. And for people that aren't familiar about what Cafe Martin is or refers to and the importance of it, John Martin was a Nesson photog cameraman, one of the greats. Just a regular guy. I mean, just phenomenal. And died of ALS a couple of years ago after a 2-year battle. And in the Newton area, this is where he lived with his wife and 2 children. And everybody would go to his house to visit him to see how he was doing. And his patio became the term known as Cafe Martin. And because people just hang out there and shoot the shit with John and Adrian and everybody. Anyhow, fast forward a couple of years now, Adrian buys an empty restaurant in the Nonantum area, right in Newton. If you're familiar with where the Ace Hardware is in Newton, in Nonantum, it's right across or around the street, or right around the corner. I mean, down the street. So Vic and I went there for dinner, more or less beverages, but ended up eating too. And because Saturday night we had off, went out at 6:00, and it was great. She's done a beautiful job with it, Razor. And there were other Nesson people there. Shocker. I won't name names, but it was everybody. I mean, Adrian, she did a beautiful job there, and she'd love for us to do a morning brew with Jaffe and Razor, kind of get together there, bring our laptops there, do a show with some people, and have some people meet us. So maybe we can work that out coming up in the next few weeks, where we can maybe go over there, because she brought it up. We talked about it earlier. So anyways, if you get a chance, bring Aaron or whatever. Got great food. Check it out. Cafe Martin, something near and dear to our hearts. And I think hockey people love it too. She's got big TVs there. It's not a huge place, but it's got like 3 TVs. You'll be able to watch whatever game you want to. So we'll have a good time there with that. So I wanted to get that in. How was your weekend, man? How was your weekend? What have you been up to?
Good. I'm solo. So Aaron's and my oldest is in Florida, so they're back tomorrow. So I've been just hanging with the twins, and my mom's in town. So it's been busy, but kind of quiet. You lose one kid, it's amazing how your schedule opens up. So we have had a quiet night tonight, and I don't have to get out of bed at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow. So all good.
You know what you sound like? Bud? You sound like a retired goaltender for the night. Yeah. That's my transition into talking about Tuukka.
There we go. I am a retired goaltender tonight.
You are, yeah. Because we didn't get a chance. We didn't do a morning brew after the Carolina game. Thankfully, thank freaking God we didn't have to after that game. But let's talk Tuukka here. Let's talk him for a moment. And in your opinion, where he stands in his generation of goaltenders. There were some other good ones that came through your guys' time, some really good ones. Would you say right at the top, near the top, good but, or I mean, he's not in the middle. He's in the top 2 or 3 categories. Let me give you. Can I give you my quick opinion? As good as pretty much anybody from your generation. As good as good as a technically sound goaltender, as composed a goaltender, as calm, and he had to learn how to do that, at least externally, maybe not internally. A goaltender there was. Did a lot of not good, a lot of great for the Bruins. I mean, I thought he was fantastic. I know there's people out there that don't think that. That's their opinion, fine, whatever. But the fact that the Bruins didn't have to worry about their goaltending for 10 years, who was going to be their starter, says an awful lot. I personally think he's as good overall as a Henrik Lundqvist. Lundqvist played more games. He fully admit that, a few hundred more. He was the starter longer than Tuukka was. I could argue that he was in the category of a Roberto Luongo. Luongo, dude, I don't need to tell you, a freak, his size and everything, and amazing goaltender. But if you look at their stats and their similarities, and I know we touched on this on Nesson, Bud, it's hard not to put Tuukka at least in that discussion. That's what I would say. He's in that discussion. Now, I'll wrap it with this. You had some goaltenders that won more cups. A Corey Crawford, for instance. Is Tuukka a better goaltender than Corey Crawford? Rhetorically asking. I think you could say he's as good, if not better, except Corey had a different team around him, and he was a good goalie for that team. He was the right goalie for that team. Jonathan Quick. Now, Quick won, 2 Stanley Cups in 12 and 14 after the Bees won. So could you argue that Quick was a better goalie, or was he just overall? Like, if you put Tuukka with that LA team, does he win those, Razor? I guess that's the question. And therein lies, I guess, the biggest argument, buddy, about him. There's enough people here like say, nope, you don't win.
Yeah, well, the other thing is I mean, Tuukka benefited from playing behind Zdeno Chara for 12 years, and no one else has that. It's that long.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that argument as well. When you have Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, and Zdeno Chara in front of you for 12 years, that's going to make you a better goaltender. What's your
Mm-hmm.
list? If yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, because yeah, there's no. I would say Tuukka's the most talented of all of those guys. The most
You would.
talented at stopping pucks. Yes, the most talented,
Mm-hmm.
as good as anyone that played in his era, to stop pucks. But does that make him a Hall of Famer? Does that put him on the list? Did he do enough? Like, if you're starting the team, are you taking him over Marc-Andre Fleury? Are you taking him over Roberto Luongo or Henrik Lundqvist or Carey Price? I would suggest that he wouldn't crack. He would be the fifth guy on that list if you rolled those names out to most hockey people. And he's more talented than all of them.
Yet, okay, Lundqvist seems to be a slam dunk for the Hall of Fame. And again, he played
Yep.
more games than Tuukka, but Tuukka's numbers are actually
Yeah.
a little bit
So
better
just
when all's said and done.
yes, but 400 wins. 400 wins is the thing. Tuukka only has 308. That's the problem.
Right.
It's quite low. Right. That's Jonathan Quick territory. That's going to where Ryan Miller has 380. Like there's guys that Chris Osgood, Curtis Joseph. Chris Osgood 4 Stanley Cups. Curtis
Mm-hmm.
Joseph played on worse teams, made worse teams better in his career. Over 400 wins, not in the Hall of Fame. So. But if you're just sticking to this generation, there is something. 400 wins and 308 wins is way different. It's way different if you're a goaltender and you're looking at
Yeah.
that number.
Okay.
It's a lot. That's 4 seasons
Okay.
of wins, 4 good seasons.
Yeah. Four
That's
good
the
seasons.
issue
Right.
for me. That's the issue. Like, the save percentage is amazing, goals against average is amazing, but you back into Zdeno Chara, Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, and only having 300 wins. And I say only with the most
Well,
utmost respect.
right. He got hurt. Right. Okay. Injuries happened.
Mm-hmm.
He had some spells where he took off some time to reset. He had a few of those. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so he lost
Yeah.
some starts there. But I think it's a healthy debate if he would make the Hall of Fame. I'm not convinced that he would. I'm not either. I'm saying, though, of his generation, still doesn't mean he wasn't a dominant goaltender or a hell of a
No.
upper echelon goaltender of his time.
Yeah. I would say you can debate him 3, 4, or 5. I think
Mm-hmm.
Luongo and Lundqvist separated themselves because of them being the workhorse for their team, for their organization every single year. 60 games, 70 games, 30 wins, 35 wins, automatic. Then
Mm-hmm.
then I would say in this era, you have a Fleury, you have Tuukka, and you have Carey Price. And Carey Price and Fleury are going to the Hall of Fame as well. So you look at those guys and it's close with the other 3.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would still
Incredible
say
career. Crazy.
incredible. Exactly where I was going to go. Incredible career.
And he's
Legit.
perfect for this team.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree with you on that. Listen, I wish nothing but the best for him, and his family, and a successful, we'll call it, next stage of life. And that's, I wonder, he seems like a mellow dude. I mean, I've gotten to, when I say know him, just passing, but he seems mellow and controlled. I know he loves his golf. I think he'll probably see a stroke or two get shaved off his handicap in the first year or two, but he's also got 3 young children, so I'll be spending more time there. I mean, you went through it. It'll be a tough transition. That is part of the transition, is figuring out how to do it. Going from everything controlled, structured, there for you, to being on your own, right? I mean, that's what it's going to come down to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, road trips, getting away when you need to get away, those kinds of things. It's transition
Yep.
is the go-to word. Everyone loves the transition, and it's no one way, no one cookie cutter. That's for sure. It's different for everyone.
No. No. And everybody goes through it differently. You think Marchand gets his suspension reduced from 6 games?
No,
Not
do
should
you?
he? Do you think he
Yeah,
does?
no. Should he's different? Should he's a different question, but no, I don't think he does.
I'm with
I don't
you.
think
I think
I
he
don't think the league's
think
giving in to Brad Marchand in any way whatsoever.
yeah, I think he should. I don't think he will. Bettman is the first to hear it. Uh, they traditionally kind of move slowly on these things. I don't know when. I mean, I'm guessing he's going to have to do it. It came in on Friday afternoon. I'm going to assume by Monday or Tuesday. Well, not Monday, probably Tuesday. He's going to have to hear the appeal. We know that Brad's out. Whatever. Yeah, if they were to drop the suspension, anything, I see one game coming off. Two would be
It,
like a grand slam. I think one would be it if they did. I don't though. Seeing that happen, I don't see it happening.
but yeah, I don't. I just don't see how they give him a break in any way whatsoever. The fact they gave him
Yeah.
6 games for what he did proves that they're not giving him any breaks. And
Right.
it might actually aggravate them more to hear an appeal. Really might.
What's it? Yeah, maybe. Bettman is
Right.
supposed to be independent, though, of Department of Player Safety. So I'm curious to see how
Yeah.
that is. Made. Brad's comments were, I don't think, inaccurate on Friday, Razor. But
Not remorseful though,
it
that's for
was
sure.
it really was no, it was definitely. I was going to say it wasn't remorseful. There was a little bit of, yeah, I get it, I screwed up, but and
Yes.
okay, well, let's see. I'll be curious to see what Gary Bettman does. Again, my gut tells me he won't. My hope is that he would give him maybe one or two reduction, but I don't know if I see that. All right. What's on tap Sunday? You say you don't have to get up at 6, 7 a.m. A
Super
bunch of
Bowl.
little bit of
Yeah,
youth
we
hockey.
got one hockey game, trip to the airport, and hang out. We don't even have a party or anything. We have nothing going on. It's going to be really quiet. Maybe order pizza, I guess. You got
How
chili
has
going
well?
or something? Or
No, nothing. No, we've got a big Eagles South Shore game at 4:40.
mm.
So a late afternoon
Oh,
game in Wellesley, by the way, Razor, a big
I might
one.
swing by then.
Um,
Yeah,
there you go. Come on over and have some fun. I think it's a standing room only crowd
it
expected.
will be.
And after that, we're supposed to have a little bit of a team get together over at our buddy Genty's house, and outside with some more TVs. But now I just saw that it might be snowing. Like all of a sudden, it was
We're getting
58
snow
degrees. Why
tomorrow.
couldn't?
Yeah,
Holy shit! How's the
it
how's
was
the
beautiful
tournament
today.
going?
Oh,
It was gorgeous. How's the Florida
they
tournament going?
lost it. Lost in the semis about an hour and a half ago. So tough beat to. They lost one of the teams in Pittsburgh. So they had a good run. The finals is going to be Sunday morning, but they are no longer playing in it. So I think they're going to probably ransack the hotel tonight, running around it all night. Good luck to my wife and all the other parents
It
there.
might be a little bit. Yeah, it might be a little dangerous for a couple of hockey parents not having a game to get up for tomorrow.
Oh,
Um,
there's no question. It's good. Someone's going to have a headache in the morning.
oh yeah, big time. All right. Lastly, you and I've got the Bean Pot on Monday night. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that. BU and
Who's going to
Northeastern.
win?
Um,
Who's going to win? What do you got?
to
I
me,
have
it's
no idea.
BU. To,
Yeah.
to to me, it's BU. BU is my slight favorite heading into the event. Watching them both play, both goalies did their job. Felter for Northeastern had to do a little more than Duplessis in the first game for BU. I just think the overall depth and team speed of BU is really impressive. Whether it's Jay O'Brien, the first round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers from some years ago, Logan Cockrell was good, really good for BU. Alex Vlasic, the big defenseman. I just thought that the transition and speed of BU was very evident, and I think they've got a little bit more. But meanwhile, Northeastern's won 3 in a row, so I don't put anything past Jerry Keefe. He's a heck of a coach.
I'm looking forward to the fans, the building. Two city teams.
Yeah.
Northeastern's showing up. I assume BU is going to show up a little better. I'm looking forward to the atmosphere.
It's going to be
But
awesome.
I'm leaning BU. It will be.
Yeah. I had 50 tickets bought for Junior Eagles. The 10s are coming.
Wow, nice.
Everybody's
Wow.
coming, multiple family
Look
members.
out.
But yes, it will be hard to get tickets if you're trying to walk up day of. Limited tickets were available on Thursday and Friday. Northeastern and BU will both bring it. Looking forward to it. All right, it's going to wrap it up for us here. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. A ton of fun on this one. I don't have the schedule when we'll be back with you. We're either going to be back with you Tuesday or Thursday. I don't remember which one, but we will be back with you for another edition, another episode Tuesday or Thursday. We'll put it out on social media. RC will remind me and say, hey, dummy, you're the one who sets up the dates. You send out the emails to tell us when we're going to be on. How do you not remember? Just because I don't, just because I screw it up. Everybody, have a wonderful Sunday. Bengals or Rams? Who do you got? Bengals, Rams?
Bengals.
Who are you going with? Yeah, me too.
Bengals.
Me too. Yeah, me too. If only just for to see those uniforms are so bad they're good. That type of thing. I think.
Yeah, that's right. They are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're hideous. But anyways, listen, everybody have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy your Monday. Listen to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. And then early next week, we'll be back with you. And as always, it's Sunday. Enjoy that extra